Okay, so following up after the follow-up, because I tried to make another video. Well, I did make another video. It was much better than the first one that I uploaded today. I was much more on track. And wouldn't ya know, the universe said, hell nah, we're not gonna upload this video for you. It was great, but do it again. So here I am, doing it and doing it. All right, so I realized that in that first rambling video in my garage, I was so focused on how sweaty my armpits were and my upper lip that I didn't even get to the solution. I didn't even bring it back to what the hell we're supposed to do. How do we find balance? How do we, yin yang? How do we flow? How do we do that? So I'm gonna try to stay on track here. I realized that like standing up and walking around, I can think a lot more easily. So we're gonna see how this goes. It went well in my last video that didn't upload, so hopefully this one will be just as good. All right, so finding the flow. I talked about, and I'll pass this down. In order to find balance, it's a lot of little, tiny, discrete, minute movements and changes and energy exchanges. Think about driving a car, when you are veering off the road or you hit the rumble strip or whatnot and you overcorrect yourself, that's a big push this way. We're either pushing too far to the right or too far to the left. Constantly trying to find that balance. Whether we know it or not, we don't really realize that's what we're doing, but everything thrives on balance. Nature, us, our energy, food sources, everything has to have the right amount of this and the right amount of that in order to fully sustain. And, we can look at it in nature. Mother Nature, to me, is the best teacher that we could ever have. She's available 24/7, and she doesn't ever stop doing work. So for me, kind of understanding that the balance lies in us trying to manage how we are flowing through everyday life and not just letting life live us every day. It kind of feels like that a lot when we're hyper-focused on a lot of things that are out of our control. A lot of little details that aggravate us and whatnot throw us off track of where we're intending to go or the intention that we'd like to maintain all throughout our day. But that's just it, we're always going to have these little things that come up for us. We wouldn't be able to appreciate peace if we didn't have chaos. We wouldn't be able to appreciate daytime if we didn't have nighttime. Same thing, good, bad, whatever, you get the idea. But we have to have the ebb to the flow, the yin to the yang. That is what life is all about. Think about when it's, if it's hot and sunny every single day, things are going to dry up, things are going to burn up. And then if you, on the other side, on the contrary, if you have rain every single day or clouds and gloom every single day, your roots get saturated, they can't breathe, they suffocate essentially. And there's no room for growth because we don't get an opportunity to soak in the nutrients that were just given to us by this hypothetical rainstorm or metaphorical rainstorm, whatever, or actual rainstorm. I digress, which I do a lot. So for me, it's about learning to not overcorrect yourself, to find that as soon as something comes up, address it. Don't wait until, it's hammering in the back of your head for you to pay attention to it. And that's when you turn around violently and you're like, what the fuck? Okay. That's an overcorrection. Same thing, we kind of know we're doing that when we are trying to constantly distract ourselves or trying to play music louder than our thoughts or trying to just not be solitary and let ourselves be alone with our thoughts, constantly trying to keep people around us or things around us. And that's all too easy right now with the phone and the whole, social media thing, because even when we are alone, we're not alone. We don't have to choose to be alone and sit with ourselves. There's, social media world out there where you can connect with everybody and anybody. So you really have access to all the distraction in the world if we really want it. And to me, that's where the power comes in, is when we can choose something for ourselves, focus on it, And to the point that we can see every little wobble that happens on our way to finding that balance. I'm kind of just thinking of trees right now. Trees are probably my most favorite thing to think about, learn from. Even the tallest, strongest trees, they sway in the wind. They don't just stand stiff, and resist the wind because I am almighty tree. They, go with the flow. They let the leaves, or let the leaves, they let the air blow through their leaves, the rain to rain on their leaves. They don't decide that I don't feel like getting wet today, so don't touch me, rain. They don't, decide I don't feel like bending today or swaying today, so, get the hell out of here with that wind. It accepts it and it uses it to its advantage. The wind blows, it, takes away the dead leaves. It prunes the tree naturally. The rain comes, obviously the trees need the rain, the water, the nutrients. It's getting fed, whether it wants to get rained on that day or not. It chooses to focus on what it is going to gain from it. And that is nutrition, nutrients, food source. And same thing with the sun. Maybe it's sick of seeing the damn sun for the day, but guess what? Without the sun, it will not be able to photosynthesize what the rain just gave it. And we are the same way. All of these little things that I just talked about, a tree experiences, that's kind of, I'm putting it in the way that we experience problems or challenges in our everyday life, little obstacles, little things that get in our way. And we're constantly focusing on, once I get over this thing, then I'll be able to do that. Or once, this person's out of my life, then I'll be able to breathe easier. And we're constantly waiting for the outside to dictate how we're going to feel on the inside. And it's exactly the opposite. If you consider your eyes, or your third eye, if you will, to be like a projector, and projecting your life, your reality is a projection of your thoughts, because your thoughts are going to dictate, your actions and your emotions about whatever this is, whatever it is, anything. And so when we're constantly focused on the external things that we don't really have control over, we're projecting an imbalance in life, because we know that inside of us is not, it's screaming for whatever this thing is to get the fuck out of our way, or this person to go away. Sorry if that, whatever, I'm not sorry. Threw me off track, overthinking it. So when we're projecting our life like that, think of that. Think of your eyes, or your third eye, or your forehead, or your face, or whatever, as literally the projector of your thoughts. What is your film reel in your head? What do you want your life to look like? If we're constantly focused on all of the things that are a problem for us to get to where we want to go, that's all we're ever going to see. It's just one problem after another. It's always something else. And then we start to get the mentality that, yeah, of course this would happen to me. Of course, all this shit, anything going right, it goes wrong. And that's because we see it that way. I got a little pissed off that the video before this didn't upload, and I could have sat and stewed about it or whatever. I could have done a bunch of things about it, but I decided to take it as an opportunity that I just fine-tuned my first rambling video from today, and now I have a third opportunity. And things are coming to me in threes lately. 3 is a powerful number for me lately. It's a powerful number anyways. I'll let you do your own research on that. But, something being said about this third attempt. And before I ramble too much, I'm going to try to keep it together and not get lost in my sauce, because that's happening right now. And balance. Let's bring it back to balance. This is always such a nice reminder. Find the balance. When you're forcing something to happen, you're still putting an aggressive energy towards seeing that thing happen, which means that you're speeding through, the process. Hurry up and wait. We're a big society of hurry up and wait. We're so excited for these events to happen, or so excited for this day to come. But when it comes, we're just constantly focused on the little minute details of that day to make sure that everything's going perfectly in the way that I thought it was going to, rather than just letting that event or experience unfold naturally. Where, we're worried about, say, a party, for example. You have all these intentions to have this great bash or party or event, and, you want the people to like the food, you want the people to like the decorations, you want the people to show up on time, you want there to be no drama, all of these little things, and, that we want to be able to fall into place. And the more we hyper focus on them, the more we see the little influxes, or not influx, but like the little fluctuations of these things, and we try to, rush to the rescue to try to balance that thing. But while we're focusing on something else outside of ourselves, we're not focusing on how we ourselves are dealing with it. Again, it's a projection of what's going on inside of us. If we are freaking out inside of us because all these things aren't going the way that our will said that they would go, or our ego tricked us into believing that they would go just by happenstance, we're hitting the panic button full on. And when we panic, we react. And when you react, we're not thinking about things. We're just reacting emotionally. And, feelings are not facts. That's something that I hope to drill into everybody. Feelings are not facts. Just because it feels chaotic doesn't mean that it is chaotic. We can tap into that feeling. You sit in that. Ask yourself, what am I experiencing this for? What can I gain from going through this experience, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent? If we focus on what we can get out of something as opposed to why this is happening, we will see solutions rather than hindrances. Why, to me, is such a victim mentality. And in a world where we're fighting to survive, when we're looking at things as in competition with each other, or I'm there's not going to be any left for me if I don't step in and live by my will and get what I need to get, just as every man for himself kind of idea. We're constantly fixated on the idea that there isn't going to be enough, that scarcity is the result. And when we focus on that, trust me, that is exactly what we will see. And we will behave in a way that looks gluttonous, and we have hoarders, and we have, people just constantly, and myself included, buying shit just to buy shit, just to have shit. We don't need more shit. We have enough to deal with already. And I'm not just talking about material things. I'm talking about, everything, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, metaphorically speaking, all of this stuff. We have enough. We've got ourselves to a position, and do we know how we got here? Were we intentional with how we got here? Are we choosing how we want to feel about where we are, or are the things external to us dictating how we feel about our position, based on the opinions of others and how they feel about where we're at in our position? I know this is probably going to be sounding confusing, so I'm going to end it here, and I'll probably fine-tune this. That didn't even make sense, but you get it. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. It's a little messy, and I'm definitely sweaty as always, but this is what I need. I'm gonna figure it out. Thanks for coming to my Jen Talk.